I have not seen each other in the flesh. I feel like I want to say since before COVID.
It's the odd
Between
fleeting in and out the
children,
lift, but yes.
Yeah, like
yes.
properly we haven't. So we've just been catching up on
Been
the
wonderful.
last 5 years of stuff. But I'm glad the mics went on. Not to say that we weren't saying bad things. We were just saying stuff.
Deep things.
Deep things. All right. So the final hour of the show is dedicated to your consumer issues, and Wendy Knowler is with us in studio. We're going to be talking about two specific issues today. The first is what to do. Don't slam down the phone and tell them to go themselves. When you get those that relentless marketing spam from a company, and no matter how many times and various ways you tell them to stop. And then we're going to be having a look at some sneakily shrunk supermarket items, and also share a cautionary tale about taking part in those quizzes which pop up on Facebook. I don't do it anymore. I'm terrified of social media these days, and
it's just one big trap.
It's one big trap. The whole thing
Various
completely
forms.
freaks me out.
Yes.
If I was to open up my phone now, I'm sure that the algorithm would have gone, oh, one big trap, and it's found me a movie called One Big Trap or something.
Or
It's
quiz you can do about avoiding how to avoid them, or
Exactly.
how vulnerable are you, or whatever. Yes.
So scary. If you've had experience with any of those issues, or you'd just like to ask a question, join the conversation, give us a call 021 446 0567. Drop us a voice note 072 567 1567. All right, so at the end of last week's show, Pippa shared her growing frustration with Techie Town, the footwear company, who she says just will not stop contacting her. She's at the end of her tether. Since she's not here today, we asked her to send us a voice note to let us know what the issue is. So take a listen.
Hi, Wendy and Sara-Jayne, and thanks for carrying on with this topic in my absence. I hope it's one that listeners are going to benefit from, as well as hopefully ending my email spam issue. The problem I've been having is with Techie Town. I made a single purchase off their website in April of last year. And in fairness, I have to say the purchase itself went off absolutely smoothly. Delivery was as promised. The quality of the goods was fine. So I've got no complaints about the actual shopping experience. But I have to say it's the last time I will ever shop with them because of the marketing spam I have received ever since. Their newsletters started out sort of one a month, then it became 2 or 3 a month. And recently the frequency has ramped up to the point I'm now getting several per week. And it's incredibly intrusive. I've already got an overflowing inbox. I don't feel like wading through endless marketing communications, especially when I've told the company I don't want to receive them. So, if you scroll down one of those newsletters, there's an unsubscribe link at the bottom of the mail, which you can click to supposedly unsubscribe yourself. I've done that well over a dozen times. Every time I've received a notice saying, congratulations, you've been unsubscribed, but nothing changes and the spam keeps on coming. So I then decided, obviously that system's not working. Let me try reaching out to this company on other platforms to see if I can get them to react. I've tweeted them, no response. I've tagged them on Facebook, no response. I've sent multiple emails to their customer services address, no response to any of those. I did eventually fill out the contact form on their website on the 15th of August. And Wendy, subsequent to chatting to you about this last week, I actually got a response to that contact form this past weekend. But guess what the response said? It said, if you scroll down to the bottom of the newsletter, you'll find a link you can click to unsubscribe. So not exactly helpful and completely ignoring what I told them, the fact that their systems weren't working and that I wanted to be unsubscribed. So that's where I am. I've used every platform I could find to reach out to them. They've completely ignored my complaint. They've just refused to engage with me in any meaningful way. And this spam keeps on coming. So I don't really know what more to do. And I know when we mentioned this last week, we immediately heard from a couple of other listeners who were experiencing the same thing from the same company. I'm guessing it's probably not unique to Techie Town, and that other listeners might be having the same problem of spam marketing that will not stop. So looking forward to hearing your suggestions, Wendy, on what we do to make it go away. Thanks.
Now then, thanks, Pippa. Now then, I remember a few years back, and I don't know if I was standing in or whether it was you and Pippa having this conversation, but I remember going, yes, because you were talking about Net Florist, who I bought some flowers for my now ex-mother-in-law or something because of this. No, years ago. And could not unsubscribe from NetFlorist, and they bombarded me. We shouldn't have to tolerate being bombarded with unsoliciting marketing messages, should we, if we don't want them? So what legislation protects us?
So we have the Consumer Protection Act, which essentially says if you say no, they must remove your details from their database, from their mailing lists, basically listen to you. And then we have the more recent Protection of Personal Information Act, the POPI Act, which pretty much says the same thing. The Act, which has been around for 14 years, does make provision for the government essentially to set up a do not contact database so that you and I as citizens can put our names on there, and everybody that's sending out any marketing material has to run their database against the people on that list. What's been happening up till now is the Direct Marketing Association has been running their own such lists, and with limited success, you can put your name on there and it should stop. But was always intended was that the government would do it. It would be run by, for example, the National Consumer Commission. And the Commission did announce, probably end of last year now, that they were finally going to be doing this. So that's in the pipeline, and that's what we really have to look forward to, because that should stop a lot of this.
How would we get on that list?
Oh, there would be ways for you to do it. Absolutely. Right. They would advise exactly how you do go. Easy peasy. Do it. Yeah. So at the moment, you can go to the DMA-SA, the Direct Marketing Association of South Africa, and get yourself on that list. Right in the beginning, there was talk of the DMA-SA, since they were already doing it, kind of taking over that function on behalf of government, but that never happened. So we should finally, in the next year, I hope, have that government-run do not contact list in place. But we still have this these two pieces of legislation, which basically says even if you did at some point tick on the yes, send me your emails, and you've now changed your mind because you're getting one every day, from the moment you say stop, they must stop, right? And Pippa and I talked recently about some of these companies can get a bit sneaky, because then they'll say, okay, then you won't get out the important SMSs we sent out. That's not marketing.
Yeah.
There's a very
the way
big
to lose it. Yeah, exactly.
It's a very big difference, right?
Yeah.
So the good news is that NetFlorist seems to have solved the problem. At the time, Sara-Jayne is nodding. At the time, they were. I remember taking this up, obviously, and they said, well, they have a series of different databases, and they weren't syncing, and whatever the case may be, they found a way to make it stop for people that don't want it, and I was one of them that desperately wanted them to stop, and they now have stopped. So if you say no to their flowery spam, you don't get it. But for me, in Pippa's case, how crazy is it for a company that provides good service, by Pippa's account anyway, good enough to attract repeat business, for that company then to sabotage itself by failing to grasp that when a customer says no to its marketing emails, they mean it, and it should stop. Whatever the complicated logistics behind it is, we don't care, and we don't have to care. It just must stop. And we're talking here about emails, but obviously a lot of people also get the calls, and that's
all the calls.
All more annoying, because as you say, you're in the middle of something. You don't want to ignore the call. As a journalist, I don't. And then you've got that, just a minute of your time, can we give you a quote for your car insurance? Yeah. Which is really annoying. But anyway.
Anyone who's going to call me before 8 o'clock in the morning, I should just say, while I'm trying to get two small children, one ready for school, you are going to get sharp shrift from me.
Well, there are times you can't phone. I should have looked this up before I came on air. I'll look in the break. I think it's never on a Sunday. It's Saturday morning from 8 to 1, I think they can call. And during the week, it's up until 7 p.m. It's just quite late.
Which I also find outrageous.
It's outrageous. That's in family time for most people.
I'm kids to bed. I'm literally waiting for that minute where I don't have somebody touching me. And you're
go away.
But before 8 o'clock in the morning.
No, it's either. It could be. I'll check it. I'll check in the break.
Okay.
Okay. Well, you're now talking so much. I didn't even open my computer, so I'll look in the break. So yes, Pippa is unlikely to be alone in her techie town torture. So I reached out to the company's online contact form, sent a media query via that, no response. I then sent another query to the email addresses it does advertise, and the the ones that Pippa's been using. Just as a sidebar, I went and checked. There is no phone number, because that's what I would have done as a journalist. Just phone them up and say, who can I speak to? Who's your marketing director? Whatever the case may be. But there isn't one. So according to the Electronic Communications and Transactions Act, which governs all online websites, retail, it's missing this.
No phone number.
Yeah, you've got to have a physical address. You've got to have a phone number. You can't just say Goodwood, Cape Town, or give the road. That's a clever one. So you can't go onto Google Maps and check if it really exists. You've got to have this full street address and a phone number. And if these details are missing, if there's no phone number, I would say one should wonder about what other what's the word I'm looking for? What other due diligence aren't they doing, right? So anyway, I couldn't phone them. I got an auto reply from the email addresses they do advertise, which read, "Thank you for reaching out to Techie Town Customer Care. Please note that we have received your query and logged a case." So whether they're planning to follow up on the media query at some point, but they hadn't this morning. So as Pippa said, the only response she got was wholly inappropriate, telling her this is what you do. They hadn't actually read her email. So they're so good at speaking at us, at their one-time clients, but they're not really good at getting any feedback or finding it or responding to it appropriately. It's really appalling. It's a really good case study to me in the training that I do.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I did go and have a look on their website, and I went actually to buy something. And when you go to pay, it says we need your details, and it's got their email and a little box underneath that says email me with news and offers. So even if someone had clicked on that, had ticked that box, the moment they say, actually, the volume of your stuff has become ridiculous, I don't want to deal with it every day, stop it, they must stop it. They can't say, oh, you ticked on our box.
No, I mean, that's
you have the right to change your mind at any given time. So that's important. Anyway, I spoke to the information regulators, senior manager for communication and media, Nomzamo Zulu, who said that the regulator had not received any other complaints about Techie Town. But I think it's the case that there's generally low awareness among consumers that that's the organization to complain to if you can't make the spam stop. And
I have no idea.
They have issued a press release outing a company that kept on sending the emails and didn't stop, which I took great delight in sharing. It was these people who organize conferences and they keep inviting you to their conferences. It was one of those.
That all the time.
So that one was outed. The information regulator, by the way, calls us data subjects. That's who we are. And so the advice from the Information Regulator's Office is that data subjects, that's you and me, who are inundated with direct marketing messages despite having requested that the companies stop or, remove us from their database, is lodge a complaint with the regulator by filling out the POPI Act complaint form number 5 on its website, and then emailing it to, and it's a specific email address, popiaComplaints@inforegulator.org.za. If you're driving and you're thinking, I can't possibly get this down, just Google, do an internet search for Information Regulator. You'll find their site, and you will find then the complaint form, the POPIA complaint form, and the rest is explained. So I know it needs more people to go from saying, I'm so fed up and they won't listen to me, to actually logging a complaint, because that's when they will take action. And it stands to reason the more complaints about a particular company that they get, the more appetite they have to take action.
You're so right. But there for me is where the crux of the matter is. What infuriates me is that I have to spend time that I do not have doing that. That's what really sticks in my craw.
But that's the reality. And we've got to don't just do it for you, do it for everybody else. So we don't get, but we've only had one complaint about them.
Yeah.
We need them to get, Scores.
I mean, I could go into my email now, and I won't. But I mean, I've got some repeat offenders, and I wonder. Like, I couldn't even tell you who they are because I almost kind of shut my brain off to them. I just go into my email address, and I don't know about you guys, but I've got about 3 or 4 email addresses. And when I need to sign up to something, to access something, because that's how it is these days, isn't it? In terms of how important it is to me and how much I want to be bugged by them, depends on which of my emails I give. So there's one email address, my Gmail address, that I give out, which is just, I've got to sign into this, otherwise I can't get to this.
Yes.
And when I open it to find things, which I sort of really do, it's just hundreds and hundreds of these communications that I've had to sign up to get whatever it is that I need. And they've just gone mad and sent me things. And every so often, I do go and do the unsubscribe. 9 times out of 10, I'm unsubscribed, but there are a few
that just don't
people
heed
that
it.
have got previous and they don't heed it.
Those are the ones you need to send a quick email or fill in the form and send it to the info regulator so they can track which ones aren't playing by the rules.
Right.
So there's that.
Yeah, that is enormously annoying. Kim's message in says, unfortunately, some of these offending companies duplicate our emails onto different campaign groups. So when we unsubscribe from an email, we remain on others.
That's not okay. You certainly don't have to run around trying to figure out. It should be for all their communications on whatever platform or whatever they are choosing to use. You shouldn't have to run around and try and figure out which of their various campaigns your email address sits on or your phone number. It needs to come off all. That's their job, not yours. Otherwise, they could all just keep dodging the instruction to unsubscribe because they can do you on the one.
Yeah.
And then say, well, sorry, that was a different address. No. Your instruction and your wishes are clear. Stop it. I don't care which campaign, which platform. I don't want to hear from you.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the other things that I've noticed, so I took my kids got invited to a party the other day to one of these soft play places.
Okay.
And the waiver for, if they fall and break their necks, is online. So before you even get there, you've got to sign up and you've got to fill out the whole thing and give your email address. And they couldn't have gone to the party had I not signed this online waiver. But now they've got my information.
No. This is a clear violation. Your information was not given for the purposes of marketing.
And I couldn't see anything that said exclude from this. So now they email me. There's another...
Terrible. We must... Sorry, Sara-Jayne. I know it's a hassle, but we must report these people.
Okay.
It is not okay. There's no point us having this protection in 2 separate sets of consumer law, consumer protection law, and these companies. Why do they do it? Because they know they can. No one's going to stop them. So I will put my hand up here. I will follow this up with the information regulator. They're great to deal with as media, and say, when did you take action? When did you last name and shame? This is what we need to happen. Because we can use, the other thing, what can you do? We can use our social media and out these people.
True.
Remember, it's not defamation if it's true and in the public interest. So don't exaggerate. Don't say they phone you 3 times a day or send you 3 emails a week if it's once a month.
Yeah.
Be absolutely 100% factual, and we as the data subjects, can name and shame, and let's out them, because I don't want to do business with someone that's going to disregard my wishes in that way. And that's what I don't understand. They're sabotaging themselves. They're thinking they're clever because they're doing marketing, but they're doing it in the wrong way. You heard what Pippa said. I will never do business with them again because of this.
Yeah.
And she had a good experience up until the spamming happened.
Yeah. And the fact that Pippa has a platform and has said on that
and you must know, we don't use our platform for personal things very often.
No,
for Pippa
absolutely.
to have got that point, and I wasn't expecting it. It just happened at the end of the show last week. We hadn't discussed it off air. For her to get to the point where she really felt the need to do that, you must know she's gone to to really extreme lengths. To get it to stop.
Yeah. A couple of years back, 3 or 4 years ago, Mr. Price, both their sport and homewares things, stores, and probably their clothing stores as well, I don't tend to go there much, give you, essentially they want to add you onto their mailing list, don't they? And so rather than doing printing out a receipt, I always experience this, and they say, would you like us to send you your receipt via email. Well, no, I wouldn't. And I know that there's some people who probably think, oh, we'll save the trees, SJ. Yes, but I don't want to get into email communications with Mr. Price, Sport, Home or other. So what's the situation with that, Wendy? Because I've had to be very forceful on occasion. I mean, there's been at least a twice back and forth of, no, I really would not like to put my email address in here. Thank you very much.
No, it's very much your right to have a printed receipt. First of all, if something goes wrong, if there's an outage or a part of your address isn't correctly captured or whatever, and you don't have proof of purchase, you can't take it back. You have no recourse, so that's not okay. I've had a few complaints about a few companies doing this. In fact, Mr. Price, I've experienced this. They do tend to give you a choice, and sometimes some are a little bit more kind of stroppy about you saying, no, I want it. But they do give you a choice. Others flat out say, this is how we do it. And that is most definitely not okay. I took this up with the Consumer Goods and Services Ombud December last year, most recently, and they cannot refuse to give you a printed receipt or even a written one there and then. The Ombud himself, Lee Subratu, said customers may not be forced to provide their personal details, i.e. an email address, in order to get proof of purchase. No matter what they say, they will or won't do with it. So it was happening at Lovisa, the accessory store,
yes.
and I went to my nearest mall and had personal experience of it. The other thing it does, and this was Christmas time, is that it makes the queues very long because it takes a lot longer for everybody to sit. Not everyone is quick, and they're on that little screen and they picking away with their fingers, and then it's wrong, and there is that as well. It's poor customer service. So the upside of it is that you have a record of it.
Yeah.
If you can find it, you can do an inbox search and find the receipt should you need it. Whereas a lot of people just lose their physical receipts and then they've got no recourse when they need it. But essentially, if you say, I would like a printed receipt, I don't want to give you my email address that you can email me it, they do not have a right to say, well, then we can't give you a receipt. Yeah. Absolutely not.
It's funny, just going back to what you were saying about the impact that this then has on consumers and where they're choosing to spend their buck. Does nobody think about this in the forward planning of it? Or somebody sitting, I just imagine them all sitting around the desk and someone goes, I've got an idea, we can get them to put their email address in. And nobody kind of thinks, there's a number of problems that could come with this, and plays the movie through to the end.
I think that's because everybody around the table is probably of a certain age and probably of a certain evolution in their digital journey, and they think that's going to work for everybody. And also, shockingly, I don't think they've bothered to check on the laws that are applicable to the consumer experience in this country.
Yeah.
So, there's that. But all these little things for me makes me lose trust in a company because they're not doing their due diligence. And if you're in business, that is your responsibility to make sure that you are honouring consumer rights.
Helen says, Wendy. Helen says, I get my receipts by email from Mr. Price. Brilliant for record keeping, but I've never been spammed by them.
That's good to know.
Good for you. I don't mean good for you, but I mean if you are someone who does your record keeping in that way, I don't. I staple all my receipts together. At least I know where they are.
Yeah, I've got a set place as well.
But I've got a set place and I know where everything goes.
But if they're high ticket items especially, take a photo or record them in some other way because that light sensitive ink will fade, and now when you something breaks and
that's
you
happened
don't.
To me on a voucher before.
There you go.
Where the voucher faded and I never got my manicure at Sorbet.
Oh no!
Yeah, true.
So I hear our listener. It is, and I did say that. Well, the upside of that is that you just have to do an inbox search, find the company, and you've got your receipt should you need it. But the point is the legality of it. They cannot make that the only way. We should, if at best, we should be given a choice. Do you want it in your hand now? We can print you out one, or would you prefer us to email it to you?
Yeah.
We shouldn't be prescribed to, and that the only way you can get your receipt is to give your email address, because not all companies will honor this is just to give you proof of purchase and not to get your email to abuse, to send you. And that would then again also be an info regulator complaint, a valid one, to say, it was to get my receipt, and now they're spamming me.
Jenny says the info regulator is toothless. I reported an insurance holding company to them for giving my data to a subsidiary. All that company said was it wasn't us, and that was that.
Disappointing.
Yeah. Shahida says the Fix. What's the Fix? Clothing store. I think so.
Not sure.
Yeah. Maxine's got teenagers. She's nodding. The Fix asks you for your ID number when purchasing with cash. When asked why they need the ID number, they say for rewards.
No. The young people will do it without thinking. No, that is not okay. That is not okay. You're paying cash. Oh,
that's wild, isn't it?
Max is nodding still. No, I need to fix things with a fix. Right.
What is our right with showing your ID number when you want to pay with your Mr. Price account card? I've never received an email indicating that this is what you have to produce before you can use your account card at Mr. Price.
Well, I think that's all right for ID. That's a verification. That's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we
don't.
Make
sure that you're the right.
They're also obliged to do whatever they can to combat fraud. So you have a relationship with them. I don't see anything wrong with that.
In order to have got the account,
you would have had to
provide the ID.
That's a fraud prevention measure, and I think that's to be applauded.
Yeah. All right, we're going to move on from unsolicited marketing. Although, Wendy, you did just look up when are people allowed to call you and when are they not? Because I said that I always get called in the middle of trying to dress a 5 and a 2.5-year-old on the way for the school run.
No, you can imagine that's doubly annoying. So the Consumer Protection Act governs the times that direct marketers can contact you by phone. So not before 8 o'clock or after in the morning, and or after 8 o'clock in the evening. That's quite late, as we were saying.
It's late.
I would have thought 6 at the latest. But they were. If you think about it, I mean, I've had these calls in the evening. So as long as it's not after 8 o'clock, they're on the legal side. On Saturdays, they can call you between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. And they can't call you at all on Sundays or public holidays. Just to add, because people have contacted me to say, but I was called about a debt. That's a different thing. Debt collectors, that's another form of legislation. They can legally call alleged debtors from 6 in the morning to 9 o'clock at night on weekdays and Saturdays. So only Sundays you're spared.
Oh, if ever
but
there
they
was a
can
reason
call
to keep
you.
your finances in order.
From 6 in the morning, Monday to Saturday. And up to 9 in the evening, they can call you if you owe them money, allegedly.
Morning.
Yeah, that's horrific. Anyway.
Keep it on the straight and narrow, SJ, for goodness sake. Right, okay, we're going to talk about shrinkflation, when the size of the product decreases, but the price doesn't. And Wendy, you found a few more examples
and sometimes
of that.
It goes up as well.
Oh, God,
yes,
no.
so I've hashtag shrinkflation is one of my very top interest areas, and so people tend to let me know when they spot one. And as did Dean Kopelovich, he actually copied me in an email that he sent to Unilever last week about this iconic South African product, a bar of Lux soap. He wrote to Unilever, I would like to voice my utter dismay and disappointment at the new size and price of your newly branded Lux soap bar. You snuck a 150-gram bar into a newly packaged branding, replacing the 175-gram bar, and then you increased the price. I understand you are profit motivated, but can the consumers of South Africa not get a break? So I sent a media query to Unilever asking what prompted the move, and why not just keep, as I always do when shrinkflation happens, why not just keep the 175-gram bar and increase the price transparently? And then I asked, when was the Lux bar reduced in size from 200 grams to 175? Because, you know, these things are happening every few years, and they're getting minier and minier. So I'm calling this the Lux Light. The answer from Unilever was, we can confirm that Lux has changed its soap bar from 175 grams to 150. Yes, we knew that. It was never our intention to deceive shoppers when buying Lux soap bar, so we have made sure that the new pack size and grammage is clearly displayed on the front of the box so that it is visible to consumers when purchasing the product. We want to assure you that we remain committed to providing the same great experience and quality, just not the same size, that you expect from Lux. Read the pricing, says Unilever. The recommended selling price that we share with our retailers remains unchanged. However, it's important to note that Unilever does not set the final retail price. This is determined independently by each retailer, and then they go on to say that when there's a new pack, there's some promotional activities around 5% more in discounting. Like all brands, we regularly review our product range in light of inflation and external cost pressures. Our priority always is to offer products with superior quality and care. So just a few comments about it. Was never their intention to deceive, because we put the grammage clearly displayed on the front of the box. That is a legal requirement. They didn't have any choice around that. Right. If they really wanted us to know that the size had changed, they would have drawn our attention to that. On the odd occasion that pack sizes get bigger instead of smaller, you will always see, because they've had to redesign the whole pack, now in bigger size. They really want you to know about it. If they wanted consumers to know that the actual bar had shrunk in size, they would most certainly have drawn our attention to it. And of course, input prices increase. We understand that. But shrinkflation, the point of it is that it's a sneaky way of passing on those higher costs to consumers. The honest way would be to keep the same bar size and increase the price. Giving your customers less by making the bar smaller is guaranteed to annoy them when they find out, as they inevitably do. So the advice is, obviously, when you're not going to tell from the packaging the size of the box or whatever else, you really have to look out for the sizes. So when shopping around, don't just look at the price, because it could be that you're comparing a 170 gram bar with a 150 gram bar, and that's not a fair comparison. Unit pricing helps with this, but not everybody knows to do that. So it's just check.
But that's hectic to have gone from a 200 gram bar to now 150.
No, well, it wouldn't have been in one go.
No, but still.
But thank you for mentioning that, because I didn't get an answer to. So when did the 200 gram become the 175? And I went back to ask.
I mean, but in a couple of years' time,
where does it end?
Slither of...
Exactly. My best example of shocking shrinkflation ever, and I had an computer crash. Unfortunately, I've lost this picture. But Protex, I think when they went from 200 to 175, they, instead of reshaping the bar to be smaller, they took the mold for the 200 gram and they just put a chunk underneath. They literally just hupped out.
No,
I'm telling you, 25 grams, like
from the bottom of the bar.
Well, it depends. Yeah, probably the bottom. That picture was priceless. I've looked everywhere, because I would have published it somewhere. I cannot find the darn thing. But, I mean, they corrected that after a while. But can you believe that?
I can believe that.
What is your customer supposed to think?
Wild. Because I'm trying to think of a product, and I can't think what it was, but it happened in the last year, where the container, when I took the lid off the container, I could see that there was
an indent at the bottom.
Indent in the bottom.
So that's.
I think I know who it was, but I'm not going to say in case it wasn't them.
Yes.
But it was something that I thought, bloody nerve.
Yeah, no. I remember when I first got interested in shrinkflation, I was looking at international examples and whatever, and it was Skippy peanut butter in the US that did that huge indentation.
Indent.
Yeah. I mean, do you get more sneaky than that, really? I ask you.
That's hectic.
Because you're not going to see it on the shelf. No. So we've got. I just wanted to quickly say...
Oh, yeah, we've got 2 minutes.
Well, I think I'm going to skip the Sasko one. Basically, there's a 700 gram one and there's a 600 gram one, and they look the same.
Yeah.
The one is cheaper than the other, and they both say betterest white sliced, more slices. The slices aren't thinner, which is what I assumed. How do they do it?
Yeah.
Sasko, PepsiCo, which owns the brand, says... No, it's for more informal markets, more affordable. So they've got shallower pans. So each slice is smaller, squatter, and I mean, that's fine. It is cheaper. But what I'm saying is always look at the size, because if you see it, don't think, and you're used to buying the 700 grams, don't think, this is a really good price.
This is a great price.
And you're actually getting less bread. And just finally, please don't... go into those quizzes that you pop up on Facebook. Margie did it.
Yeah.
And I'm all over the place with you. I can't find my notes. Essentially, she answered it. It was going to be 300 Rand or something. How's your memory? Test your memory. You know, you get to a certain age and you start worrying when you forget things, right?
I forgot the phone number at the top of the show.
I heard, yes, you see, and you're only... a baby.
32.
Yes. And then, so that's fine, credit card. And then 2 days later, she was the subscription came off they always want to catch you with a subscription, 500 and something rand on a credit card. So she cancelled her credit card. She got a new one and she was worried it was going to happen again. I said, no, you've got a new card now. Consider using a virtual card because it gives you much more security because it's generating new details with every purchase. It doesn't link directly to your it's not visible, your actual card details. And also, so it sets your memory. And I got caught recently with the flipping, anyway, I won't go into it. But the other one is, take a selfie, see what color clothing suits you or which hairstyles. Yeah. You are submitting your biometrics onto the web. That is just like you might as well be giving your fingerprints and your signature. Please. Don't do it. Anything that wants to engage you, that comes up on Facebook, and it's all interesting things. You resist the temptation, the curiosity, the what ifs. Please, 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 just scroll on by.
Read a book. It's 2:57. Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you,
Wendy's
Esther.
back next week.